Bless up everybody, how you doing? This is King Kevin Dorival. Thanks for watching this video regarding Black History Month and why we need to get rid of it. Now, Black History Month, straight to the point, is here specifically to make us feel good about ourselves as black people. You know, in America, the month of February is Black History Month. You know, today is February 6th, the day before my birthday. Then you have October, which is also Black History Month in London. I don't know what the other continent is when they celebrate Black History Month, but we need to get rid of it because it's just a token holiday, you know. It's just, that's all it is. For whatever reason, we get so happy about it when it's only 1 month, the shortest month of the year. I just don't understand, because what purpose does it serve other than to just talk about our ancestors 1 month out of the year while we celebrate and honor Europeans who enslaved us, raped us, killed us, slaughtered us, violated us in every imaginable way, you know, or Asian culture, and God knows what else they teach the kids in school. Because I know when I was in school, especially fast forward when I was in college, I had asked the professor, you know, and because I love history, why is it that we don't have any African history in the book? All we talking about is the Europeans, the Greeks, the Romans, the French, the Asians, you know, whether it be Japanese or Chinese, art and history and great contributions to the world. But what about the Africans, you know? Because honestly, at the time, when I was attending FAU, which is Florida Atlantic University, you know, I wasn't big on history like that. You know, I just love watching warrior kings and queens do their thing, and just the battling and watching the fancy clothes and the crowns and just the fight for power. That's what I've always been into that, you know, since a child. But I asked the professor that question, and she was like, well, this is what's in the book. This is what's been issued for this class. When I told her, well, then I think we need, respectfully, I said it, but I think we need to get some other books, because this does not teach me anything about who I am and where I come from. So I had a big problem with that. I had a huge issue with that. And fast forward, what, 10, 15 years later, I'm a grown man, I have my own place. You know, there's a bookshelf right behind you, gang of books. And the time of slavery, if a black person, if an enslaved African was to get caught with a book in their hand, not just reading it, just the possession of it alone will cause you to get a whipping. If you get caught writing or reading, guaranteed death. It doesn't make any sense. Why would they isolate our people like that? And so the fact that our ancestors couldn't read or write by force, which it wasn't just by happenstance, hey, you guys can't read or write, they forced that. You know, this was issued, this was a law issued in the colonies to keep us as subservients. Now, I want to get to a little further into the whole reading thing, but let me tell you a dream before I get back into Black History Month and why we need to get rid of it. A few years ago, maybe 3 years ago, I had a dream. This true story. I posted this on social media some years ago, and I received so many comments. And when I asked, what does this dream mean? You know, of course, after praying about it, I was just curious on what did the dream of me being a slave mean. Now, in the dream, I was in love. I was an enslaved African and lived on a plantation. I started a relationship with a female on another plantation that, you know, we met somehow, and we just began to talk, and somehow we realized we both can read and write. And so we would secretly send messages through people with our letters. So over time I collected, you know, a pillowcase filled with letters from her, which I kept dug in the ground. Fast forward, someone snitches, which is another enslaved African, you know, and they tell the master or the overseer, whoever, that I had not only letters but books as well, hidden in the ground, which makes sense because anybody who knows me know I love to read, I love to write, and I love letting people hold my books. I love letting out books, and I used to write a bunch of letters back in the day. You know, the 4-page letters. It's not like y'all don't know. So, but anyway, so the master of the plantation came, and they beat me, they tied me up, and they were whipping me to ask me where did I keep the stash of letters. You know, I kept denying I don't have it, until they threatened to go get the other girl, which they did. They grabbed the girl from the plantation and said they would kill her if I didn't reveal where I kept all my books and my letters. This is how important and significant it was for them to keep our people in an inferior state of mind and presence and status. You know, willing to kill me because of letters and the books that I had hidden. Because they want to know, where did I keep these, where did I get these books? Not just where I kept them, but how did I get hold of these books? Working, I guess I was buying the books, I don't know. But somehow I got those books in my possession. I woke up from a dream, it just seemed so real. And out of all the comments people posted on social media on what that meant, the one that stuck out the most was that a young lady wrote me and she said, that's your ancestors speaking to you. To continue doing what you're doing with writing your books, with working with the youth. This is a reminder that they're telling you to keep doing it. And so I was honored the fact that this young lady would tell me that, because I've always been a person that will uphold my ancestors. Whether it be my mom, rest in peace, whether it be different scholars and historians and soldiers that paved the way for our people. Whether our people in Haiti, whether our people in the United States, whether our people throughout the continent of Africa, whether from Benin, which is the homie today, or it was the homie when I was Benin, whether it's Kemet, which is Egypt, Kush, South Africa, the Congo, wherever, Liberia, wherever. Dr. Ames Wilson, Dr. Borshango, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, Dr. Sadra Ali, of course, the Honorable Malcolm X, whoever it is. And of course, I cannot continue if I don't say Dr. Amos Wilson, or at least stress who Dr. Amos Wilson is. See this book in my hand? This is Blueprint of Black Power. This book here is actually about 800 something pages, right? 800 pages. This would have been impossible to write during times of slavery. Now, I understand with Black History Month why we celebrate it, because this is what we've been conditioned to celebrate and honor. Carter G. Woodson started Black History Month back in 1926, if I'm not mistaken. 1926 started actually Black History Week, which would take place the second week of February, because Frederick Douglass' birthday is in February. Second week of February, they believe. Actually, no one really knows what day he was born, because that's the poor records they kept of our ancestors. We were just property to them. They didn't care. They didn't give a rat's ass when we were born. And Abraham Lincoln was born February 12th. So Carter G. Woodson, being smart, they're not gonna honor just black people. So let's include Abraham Lincoln, who some say has some melanin in the skin. Part of him is African. I don't know, but he got that passed 1926. And in 1970, BSU students, Black Student Union, so shout out to all my Black Student Union students out there, or the alumni, they started Black History Month. Like a week is not enough. So they started a month in 1970, February 1st, 1970, Kent State University. So shout out to those who had made that happen. Now, I get it, okay? I get we want to feel good. We want to talk about, those who paved the way. We want to mention, I just mentioned Frederick Douglass, which is actually the first autobiography I ever read, was one of his. People like Carter G. Woodson, this is his book. This is the guy who wrote the book. Well, this is not his face, but you can look it up on YouTube. But this is who he is, Carter G. Woodson, who started it, and he's a historian, author, educator, did great works writing this book. This book, I'm not even telling you the title of the book. This is called Miseducation of the Negro. Now, this is a very profound and powerful book, and I want to read something to you all. Just sit tight. It's not going to be long. If you can control a man's thinking, you do not have to worry about his action. When you determine what a man shall think, you do not have to concern yourself about what he will do. If you make a man feel that he is inferior, you do not have to compel him to accept his inferior status, his or hers. For they will seek it for themselves. If you make a man think that he is justly an outcast, you don't have to order him to the back door. He will go out without being told. And if there is no back door, his very nature will demand one. Isn't that something? There's no back door, but I'm going to ask you for the back door because I know I'm nothing. That's what they put in our ancestors' head. Now, the reason why I am saying that we need to ban Black History Month is because you cannot celebrate our people in 28 days and call that justice. Our ancestors fought not just for this country, they fought in Europe, they fought in wars throughout the world. African people have paved the way. If anybody should be receiving any benefits or have even some sort of reparations, it will be people of African descent. It has to be. You know, I don't even want to get into the history of how they kidnapped us and tortured us and all this foolishness they did to our ancestors to get us, you know, all around the world, the diaspora. But I tell you one thing though, if we continue keeping our focus on 1 month, the shortest month of the year, again I must remind you, then we pretty much put our ancestors in a box to where we won't feel right celebrating them any other time of the year. So if February is our designated month, that's the only time we're going to do anything to honor Black people. And I'm so sick and tired of all these Black History events, Black History Month events in February. They have 1,000 events crammed into 1 month. So you literally have to pick and choose which one you want to go to and support because there's so many of them, you can't make them all. And instead of it being a collaborative effort, you have all these individual people want to seem like they honor their ancestors more than the next. It's just foolish. To me, to be honest, now that I'm talking about it, it makes me feel as if, or see this as we're on a plantation trying to get the masses' approval. Or get the approval of the other slaves on the plantation on who could dance the best, who can dress the best when it comes to Black History Month. There's too much history. Our ancestors fought in so many different wars, man, and they got us so warped in their fantasy of multiculturalism, which is another reason why they want to keep the Black History Month thing going for God knows how long, probably forever. Because if we continue celebrating just 1 month, then we would accept any and integrate with all different types of people and neglect the issues and problems we are facing right now to this day. Let me remind you all, racism never stopped. Racism isn't just you calling me nigger, I'm calling you cracker. That's not what racism is. That's what they want y'all to think racism is. Racism is actually poverty, the unemployment, because of your skin color. Racism is being killed, you know, driving your car, get pulled over and getting killed because of your skin color. That's racism. Racism is not being able to have a decent place to live because of your skin color. Racism dictates how you eat, how much money you make, where you live. That's racism. So as long as we keep dancing around and celebrating these ridiculous holidays and events, we're going to continue being in that box. We're going to continue suffering in that box as a people. One thing I will give Dr. Amos Wilson credit for, actually there's quite a few things to be honest. If you haven't heard of them, look them up. Especially on YouTube. Any one of his videos. His video may be an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours long, but give him 10 minutes of your time. I guarantee you will continue watching it. But one thing I give Dr. Amos Wilson credit is that he made me understand the games that the Europeans have played on us over and over and over again. How can it be that the richest continent in the world is seen as the poorest? And I'm talking about Africa, the motherland. How is it that think about it, it has all the resources. You talking about gold, you talking about diamonds, you talking about copper, rubber, you talking about everything other than emeralds, cobalt, which you use for all the gadgets we have, the cameras, the phones, the computers. All that comes out the motherland, all of that. But we're made poor. It's because if you can turn someone's minds backward, give them a falsified history of themselves, deprive them of their ancestors, because if you don't know where you come from, you're not gonna know where you're going, because you're doomed to repeat history again. No one is above time. History repeats itself if you allow it, especially history that you do not like to see happen again. And if we continue this pace, we will see it again. Because our ancestors deserve more than just 1 month. Because we fought in so many different wars, so many different battles. We fought in the American Indian War, we fought in the Revolutionary War, we fought in the Indian Wars, the enslavement of our peoples. You have the unemployment, the miseducation of the Negro, which still goes on to this day, the massive incarceration, the police brutality. The list can go on and on and on. But we're going to continue forgetting about it and just go hop and skip and dance, be a good Negro, because we want to keep our history and traditions kept in 1 month. Now, I know I'm just making this video on YouTube. It may not go viral, may only 100 people hear it. I don't care. But I want you guys to think about that. Do not just stick with celebrating and hosting African events in 1 month. Do it throughout the year. You know, be spontaneous. Anyway, my name is King Kevin Dorival, and I'm out.